Hello, welcome to Code Box Automation Lab. This is Sharful. In this lecture, we're going to see how to resolve a TestNG issue when you use a before annotation with the group. So what does it mean? Let's see. I'm going to just explain a little bit over here in my the code. So I have a base class, right? So base class, I have a method for initial driver, so where I have all the driver information, and also I have another method which is tear down to quit the driver. Okay, so this is on base class. So on the other hand, I have a couple of test class. So here I have one table test. There is a class, and here it's a this is a pure test case, right? So you can see there's a test annotation I use, and I make a relation with the base class as my parent or super class, and this table test is my child class. And similarly, I have a couple of more class with a few test methods. Over here is another one. It's called window auth test, and this is also same thing I did. Over here, this is a child class, and base is my parent class. So it means, you know, all the parent class method related to the driver, it's have the it can have the share the knowledge over here in a child class. And here is it two method I have. Test method, one is over here, one is test auth, and there is another method over here. You can see there's a login test. Okay, and there is another class which is called link test class, and here it's the same thing. So base is my super class or parent class, and also one test case over here, and you can see there is a the method is test method is good get links test. Okay, so this is so total it's a 5 test cases in 3 different class, right? This 1 2 3 different class with a total of 5 test cases. So here is my XML file. Okay, here is my XML file. So here, as you can see easily over here, all the 3 classes that I have test method over here listed. So if I run it, you'll see if I run it test suite. So, and also just to let you know, one of the method like login method will fail. It is intentionally, I'm failing. So I should have a result like should pass 4 test cases out of 5. So the login test should fail. So this is intentional I'm doing. So here is the login one, because it's I provide invalid username and password. You see this, so it didn't log in, so it will fail. Here's another one. This is the link test. This is the link test class or link test. It will find the total number of links, and then it will find all the links at the footer, and also click all the link on the 3rd column, and it will open one by one, and it will get the title from each and every child window. So I'm not explaining details about all the test cases. This is the issue. It's you will see with the group. When I'm going to run some of the test cases, make a group, and then when I will run, there will be issue. So to resolve this issue, so this is only applicable whoever you are expert in TestNG. The TestNG details, and how to create the XML file, and also how to define or break down the XML file, make it exclude, include, all those things. Then it's you will able to see the issue. Probably the issue. Then you will see that how to resolve the issue. So still it's going on. I think this is the last test case. Okay, here you can see there is a total test run 5 and pass 4, 1 fail. As I said, 1 fail. If I go over here, you will see there is a login test is a fail. Okay, so if we just let me put it up over here. Okay, let me make it also bigger. So you can see over here the login test is failed. This is the login test is failed. This is known. as I said, like it is a known, so don't worry about it. So now, which is like, it's running expected and the result also expected, right? So which is pretty good. Now I make a group. So in my link test over here, I have a one method, right? So let me put it down a little bit. I have one method over here, only one test case over here. I made it group. I give it name is a group as a smoke test. And also in window auth, I have two test cases, right? So it's one test cases, which is the name is drop down test. I made this one also part of the same smoke group. Okay, so this is the two test cases from two different classes. I made a group. So here is my another XML file for the group. So here, as you can see, I updated the XML file, changed the XML file over here. Here is the group. I hope that you know it. How to how to include your group in your XML file. So you have to you can put the group info inside the test module or outside of the test module. It means underneath the suite. So but over here I'm just putting inside the test module over here, because all these two classes, it's underneath the same group, same the same test module. So here that's like you can when you inject your group in your test XML file, you can write this on this is your group opening and closing tag. Then you have to pass the run tag and then include the name of your group, which is the smoke, right? And then this group will apply where? In these two classes. In these two classes I have this both methods. So this class, there's the link test. I have one test case which is part of the group. Also window auth test over here. In this class I have also another test cases which is part of this group, the smoke group, right? So now let me save it and then let's run it. And as you know, this is my base class. So base class I have the same setup I have as a before annotation, like before class. Okay, this is my initial driver. So driver info as a part of my before class annotation, and also tear down, which is the driver close or driver quit as a after class. It was as it is, right? So we ran the same setup with the TestNG XML file. It was running fine, expected a result like 4 test pass, one is intentionally fail. It's running good. Now if I just run the smoke XML file, so it's supposed to run these two test cases, which is the part of a smoke group. Let me run it. TestNG. Okay, here is the result. So it didn't go through. It didn't invoke even the browser. So you'll see the test result is there's two test cases, the pass 0 and fail both of that. If I go to over here, the result, you can see this is the two test cases under this two class, window auth and then link test, which is good. And over here it has a both. This is the method. It is a part. Drop down test is a part of the smoke group, and also this is the link test, and both of them got fail. If I just select the drop down one, you will see over here the explanation over here is giving me it's a null point exception. So it cannot invoke the web driver. So as you know, if you're familiar with Selenium, so you know that this is a very common exception, which is null point exception. It means your driver, the driver you have in your base class, this driver didn't share the knowledge, didn't pass the knowledge to your classes, like in your test class, the method you have, the group. So that's why the driver in your test class you have over here, we're using like over here we're using driver. So this driver is a null. It's not pointing the actual driver that we have in our base class. Like this is because this driver, the base class driver over here, this is the real driver which has the live, right? So when I have a base class, I made the base class as my parent class, right? Over here I made the parent class, base is my parent class, so those base class automatically supposed to come over here. When I call the drivers, this driver is supposed to get the live from my parent class, but it didn't happen over here because it didn't happen only when I use the group. when I use the group my test cases and run from the XML file, didn't work. But it exactly the same setup works when I just ran as an not as a group, just run all the test cases from all the three different classes. It ran fine, you saw that. But when I ran as a just group, so this is the XML file for the group, for the smoke group, to run only the 2 test cases, which is my part of smoke group. So that time it didn't invoke. That means the driver I have in my base class was not shared, or was not transferred this driver knowledge to my class, my child classes where I have this smoke group, right? So it didn't work. So what's the problem? The problem is, like I found over here, if you go to the TestNG their official site, if you go their official site, this is their official site. Let's see, I can make it a little bit bigger. Here is a problem. You can see over here, this is the problem. In their official site, they clearly mention for group method, for before methods, like whatever the before you have, like you use whether before suite, before test, before test class, or before test method, but not group before groups. It means it's saying, so if set true, this configuration method will be run regardless of what group it belongs to. So what does it mean? It means when you use any before annotation with your base class, like with your parent class or your super class, right? We have exactly the same thing we have in our base class. We use the before class, right? The before class, that annotation. They're saying that when you use the annotation with the before in a parent class, this method does not share with the method you have in your child class, which is underneath a specific group. That doesn't work, because the method you use as a group with the group annotation, those are very static method, and those method does not able to work with a group when you use a group with your child, with the test classes or with your test methods, right? That doesn't work. So in a previously the other, when I run all of the test cases from all these 3 classes, it ran well, because that time it didn't consider the group. I ran all of them, so that time it's fine. But when you use it's only the group test cases from different classes, like smoke I use over here, that time this like the before, whatever the before annotation you use in your parent class, like this method does not able to transfer the knowledge to your child class, even though base is a parent class or super class, and those 2 test classes is a child class. Okay, this is the limitation. To overcome that limitation, they also suggest a solution. They said, if you set to true, this configuration method will be run regardless of what groups it belongs to. So if you set, this is like force, like if you set to true, what true, so you will set always run. You are going to add this parameter with your group before group annotation, before annotation you are going to say always run equals to true. If you do this, it will force to run, that execute this method regardless of it's supposed to work with the group or not. It will work no matter what, any condition, it will work. So it means I can use over here, let's copy always run equals to true. So I can say beside your before annotation over here, just put it over here equals to true. Okay, so put this one as a this one is a true. The same thing you do for the after class 2. So when you use this always run is true, it means this annotations, the related method with this annotation, like this one and this one, will execute no matter what the condition on your test class. In your test class, if that method needs to work with your with a test method, even this is a part of the group, it will work. If it's not part of the group, it will also work. So it is like it's like a force that you are forcing that run, always run, no matter what your condition is, the group or not. Now let's run it. Now let's run this smoke test, the XML file. Run it. Now you can see it's started to launch. Here we go. You see? So it's launched the first one, first test cases. And it's doing, this is the radio button, the drop down test cases, and that's another one. It's about the links to test, find out the total links, and then the links at the footer, and then there on the third column there is a link up there. Click each and every column over here and go to each and every page. So you can see those are the child window. It's opening, and get the the title from each and every page. And tear down method will apply after that, so we'll close all the window. Still it's running. Okay, now we can see the total test run 2 and the pass 2, so there's both got pass. So okay, so that's the solution. So just remember, if you use any before annotations, whether it's before switch, before method, before test in your super class, and also you use group on your child class, that time you have to use always run equals to true with your before annotation on your parent class, so that this method can work with your child class, whether it's a part of this test method is a part of group or not. So it will work on all condition. So this is the solution. I hope that it was helpful and resolve this kind of issues whoever facing that. And thanks a lot. Have a good one. Bye bye.